Hey, it's E with the reality, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to talk all things reality TV and hot topics. But before we get started, make sure you are subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Thank you. Now, let's get started. We are going to talk about the soul of it all. We're going to talk about a little Love Island. I'm not going to recap the actual past few episodes, but I do just want to tap into the whole soul discussion because I feel like there's been a lot going on, and some of these conversations I really do not understand. So we do take it back to the fact of them doing the mailbox challenge with the love letters, and of course we know that Sincere chose Melanie to recouple with. I will say that I was a little shocked because he definitely seemed to be really into Soul at that time. We didn't really see a lot of conversations between him and Mel um, during that time. So I really thought that, she was just going to have to process to be for things to kind of be over with. And then, especially once Corbin didn't write her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to be left vulnerable because I just knew the Sincere was going to pick Soul. Well, I think he surprised a lot of us, and he did not pick Soul. And I think his reasoning of, while again, he never picked Soul in the first place. He was exploring with her, he was lying. I think that, especially for the viewers, it would have come off much better had he not been saying one thing and doing something different. Because he had every right to explore Soul if that's what he wanted to do to test his connection, because clearly that's what he wanted to do. I do feel like that it was a reaction to him feeling kind of played by Melanie. And we know how guys are, like, you sitting up here being like, oh, okay, she's playing in my face for all America to see. He probably thinking about his homeboys back at home. I'm letting this girl play in my face, and it's gonna be shown on TV, so I can't be sitting up here looking like some little, whatever. So, okay. So I'm gonna play with Soul. And that's what he did. Um, but I think this narrative of like she was isolated. I mean, there's just so much discourse going on right now in regards to Soul, and it doesn't seem like she made it any better when she came out the villa because she called the girl mean. She called the girl mean girls, and then I know she said on her after sun that Melanie and Anaya were threatened by her. I just want the way that I look at it is that at the end of the day, Soul was a bombshell. You guys just wanted to like Soul just to like Soul. I don't even know what Soul actually did to be like so likable, other than the fact that Sincere was lying to her. But again, once that recoupling happened and Melanie stepped away from the situation, she gave Sincere and Soul the time to explore each other. She wasn't pulling for chat. She wasn't interrupting their time. She wasn't doing any of that. So all the time that Soul was coupled with Sincere, she had his undivided attention. He had one conversation with Melanie, and then it seemed like after that is when the recoupling happened. And he chose Melanie. So I don't understand how she can seem like she has all this smoke for Melanie and Anaya, or just the girls in general. When she even said on her live that there was no beef with her and Melanie. Her and Melanie had so many conversations that they did not show. But then when you get on the after sun, you want to say that they're threatened by you and all this. Well, the point of a bombshell is to come and threaten people's couples. So my thing is, obviously you didn't threaten enough because you weren't chosen. So you want to give all this smoke to the girls, and it's couple island, and the whole couple island thing is weird to me too because you were coupled up with Sincere. You were not talking to Sincere and talking to this person and talk. No, when you were coupled with Sincere by America's vote, you didn't talk to anyone else. So you were also in a couple. So I just think is I just the discourse is just weird to me, and why people are just going so up for soul, and so she was so wrong for being voted out. She was a bombshell. That's what I don't get. I'm like, bombshells have the hardest job. That's why people want to be a part of the main cast, because the main cast has a leg up on bombshells. It's harder to get out the cast members than it is the bombshells, because but we have already seen two bombshells, two cast members go, a male and a female. We have seen that. So, unfortunately, she was a bombshell, and her connection wasn't as strong as what she thought it was. She thought she probably had it in the bag, because that's what Sincere was telling her. So I do get the manipulation of Sincere, but to be angry at, or it seems to be like you got a problem with Melanie and them because they weren't all giddy giddy with you. Girl, you're coming in to take one of their men. Now, just let's reverse those roles. Let's say you are the main cast and you've been coupled up with Sincere this whole time, and now Melanie's coming in. You're not going to tell me that you're running up in her face, kikiing and laughing and all of that. No, I feel like people feel like, oh, you got to be a girl's girl. You got to treat everybody, as long as they weren't being disrespectful to her. They don't have to be in that girl's face. As long as you're showing respect, that's really all you can ask for. But I also believe it goes both ways, because again, you didn't have no issue running around sneaking and hiding with Sincere when he was coupled up with Melanie. See, what you did was, and you're supposed to, is go and talk. So you talked to Sincere, y'all spent lots of time together, and all of those things. But then for Melanie, once you were recoupled with him, Melanie gave you and Sincere that space, regardless of what it is that she was feeling, because she was having to process her own feeling. So all the people like, oh, she was searching for attention, so on and so forth. If she really says that she cares for Sincere, and then seeing him move the way that he was moving, and just not being honest, because really that's all she was asking for, is honesty. Because it ain't like he was out here sleeping with the girl or any of that. He was just kissing her and telling her things. I don't think he just went a little too far with trying to secure each woman. It's like, you don't have to do all of that. You could have just told Melanie, hey, yes, I do want to explore her. If we share kisses, that's part of me exploring. You could have just been upfront with her about that. You could have been upfront with Stoll. Hey, I still have some feelings for Melanie, and I'm still going to be exploring that connection as well. You could have been open with everybody so everybody knew it was on the table. But again, you take it to Soul, and Soul says, Melanie knew what was going on. Well, so did you. You knew what was going on. You knew that he wasn't being honest with Melanie, but you thought he was being honest with you. It's like, what? It just gives that you thought you were going to be the one that was picked. You thought you were going to be the one that pulled him. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. You didn't get picked. It was weird that people were picking. I'm like, the people complained all last year because, oh, no couples were locked in. We got down to the last week of the show of new couples coupling up, or a week or two that couples are coupling up that are in the finale. And everybody was complaining about that. Oh, none of these couples are real, da da da. But then this year, because we feel some attachment to Soul for some reason, I don't understand why, because I don't understand what she did that was so great that, because she's a pretty girl, she's a pretty girl, but she didn't do anything that would have just made you been like, oh my gosh, she's so great. She came in and hooked up with the one person that y'all didn't like. Y'all already didn't like him because of him lying back and forth. But y'all were okay with her hooking up with them at the time because y'all didn't like Melanie. So because you didn't like Melanie, because y'all thought she was doing too much, y'all were okay with her hooking up with him. But then when y'all find out that, hey, maybe he's not the best person because he's not really being truthful, then y'all feel sorry for her. But then y'all didn't give that same grace to Melanie because again, Melanie was out here just playing the game. Melanie out here saying, okay, it's a challenge. We're gonna do our thing in challenges. Because that's what you do. That's the point of the challenge. Now, some of the challenges, ooh, some of the challenges are just borderline just inhumane. Because it's just no way. This last one with the feet, I mean, and then in my head, as they're doing this challenge, I'm like, so are they licking feet? So they're licking feet, everyone's feet, and then sticking their tongue in their partner's mouth? Yeah, no, thank you. It would have been no way possible. Baby, kiss me on the. I don't even want you to kiss me. You can kiss me in the top of my head. I don't want it. Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. If you wanted to kiss me, you would have had to maybe just kiss each girl's leg. But you putting toes in your mouth? Ugh. Bryce was so disgusting. Sucking toes, and then he was like, and then Trinity was, and I'm like, they already say he's a bad kisser. Now again, we ain't heard Trinity say he's a bad kisser, but I don't know. Other people say he's a bad kisser. But yeah, so I just, it feels like one of those things where you were feeling some type of way. Yeah, you were ready to get out of the villa because you were like, oh, you know, you have to be open. And I'm like, when she said maybe you'll be open to the next box, girl, at the end of the day, this is a game with money on the line. They don't got to be open to nobody. I'm sorry, they just don't. Again, as long as you're not being mean and hurtful to someone, I don't have to allow you in my space. Because again, I don't know what type of energy you bring in. We just assume that everybody's on TV is a good person. We didn't even see enough of Soul's personality to even be like, oh, and now she's talking about, I don't know. I'm curious. I honestly, I can't wait for the reunion to know if Trinity, if Bryce pulled Kata more than the one time that we saw him pull her, because if he was pulling her multiple times, just, and if he was pulling her, maybe they were just chit chatting about whatever, and maybe it wasn't like a romantic thing, and then maybe once he decided that he wanted it to let me take one more shot at it, maybe that's when he decided he was going to go to Zach, because what would be the point of you pulling her all of these times and then you decide you're gonna go to Zach? And it just didn't make sense to me. So I'm like, did she try to throw that in there to just kind of make her point of the because again, the people turn on you quick, baby. The people turn on you quick. All the people was so. Maybe So got up and said that Bryce probably think that Kata is prettier than Trinity. Baby, the people don't like her no more. And then you gotta try to come out and explain what it is that you meant. Again, I'm not a fan of Bryce and Trinity. I don't know. It just gives me that they want to be Olandria and Nick from last season. And unlike last season when Nick and Orlandria, they didn't get together. It wasn't until the very end that they were shipped together, and they've been together since and grew their relationship. So I don't know if she's just like, oh, she's because I don't know. I just see them being like good friends, and it is what it is. But I still don't think it necessarily meant that Soul had to be like, oh, Bryce probably thinks that Kata is prettier than Trinity. It's just a crazy thing to say. I just think that's a crazy thing to say. Unless you and Bryce had conversations, it doesn't matter if Bryce was pulling, if he was pulling her multiple times or not. He could like her personality because clearly, which again, we're not even going to talk about Zach and Bryce. I mean, I just really, at this point, I just feel like they should be together. Because there's just a lot going on. And then I just feel like the girls kind of look crazy. Like, I really wanted to text some of my homeboys and be like, so, would you ever open up your pants for your homie to look at and just like have commentary on your north area down there? Because what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we talking about? I don't understand. So that whole thing, anyways, is that's another element of this whole thing. So for you to be like, he probably thinks uh, he might, he might actually like Zach, out of all people. But I don't know. I'm not with the whole. I don't feel anything for Soul, and I don't feel anything against Soul. Like I just feel like okay, she was a bombshell that wasn't picked. Like it's not like oh my gosh, she was done so wrong because she was done the exact same way that Melanie was done. She was done the exact same way Melanie was done. The only difference is Sincere chose Melanie. That's the only difference. They were both lied to. He was bouncing in between both of them. And again, Melanie stepped back and allowed them to have their time together. So she can't even be like, oh, but she wants to put that on Anaya. Because again, did we see multiple conversations with again, even these little short conversations that Casey had with Soul don't even imply that he had multiple conversations with because again she did the wordplay of every time we had a conversation. So you're saying that you guys had multiple conversations. Okay. Again, we only saw one conversation. Now we saw like him coming to check on you after the pie thing and so on and so forth. But we didn't see you guys have lots of conversations. So in these supposedly lots of conversations that you had, or more than just that one, Anaya was coming and breaking them up. Well, again, if Anaya was breaking them up, Melanie wasn't, and you were coupled up. You were sleeping in a bed with Sincere. You were waking up next to Sincere. She was in bed with Corbin or out on sleeping outside with the bugs. I think I would have just had to sleep with Corbin because maybe I can't do the bugs. And it seems like Fiji has quite a few bugs. I can't do it. So, um, so yeah. So I mean, I wish Soul all the best, and I hope everything she gets everything that she wants and all the good things. But I was just really annoyed by the whole Soul thing, and she was done so wrong, and these people are bullies, and it's just like everybody wants to label everyone. I really wish people would look up the definition of bullies before you start labeling people bullies. Because just because I'm not talking to you doesn't make me a bully. Just because I didn't want to make you my friend doesn't make me a bully. If I'm literally not saying anything, I'm just minding my business, that doesn't make me a bully. But people are always so quick to put labels on people of things that they are when again, you're watching a scripted TV show. You don't see everything and you don't have everyone's point of view. So reacting just off of one person is crazy to me. Wait till you have the whole story before you start labeling people. Just have the whole story. Because I don't understand how you can say there's no beef with you and Mel on the live that you had with you and Gabe to then being like they're mean girls. Okay, so if they're how wait, so who is the mean girls then? Who's the mean girls? Because the people that are going to get labeled as the mean girls are Melanie and Anaya. Definitely. But you said you didn't have any beef with Melanie and that you guys had multiple conversations that they just didn't show. So it just needs to make sense to me. I'm just a person of sequences making sense. And you just can't throw stuff out there and just be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. No, the whole thing has to make sense. The whole thing has to make sense. You were in an awkward position, which I get it. Coming in as a bombshell is an awkward position because you're coming into something that's already has a foundation and your job is to break it up. That's your job. Is to try to put cracks in people's relationships so that you can establish yours. So for you to feel like the other girls are not going to feel some type of way about you trying to crack their relationship. Now, again, if they were walking around cussing you out and we just seen all it, we didn't even really see any after Soul was paired with Sincere, we literally didn't even hardly see Mel that much on the screen except when she was talking to Corbin. We didn't even see Melanie that much on the screen unless she was talking to Corbin. Trust and believe. If they were being super mean and it was all this drama, you really think that they wouldn't show that? You really think that they wouldn't show that? Because those are the things that get the ratings. Those are the things that get the people talking. So I don't think it was all of this hoopla that everyone, oh, she was being bullied, she was isolated. It's a weird position, and everybody's trying to work through their feelings. Everybody's trying to work through their feelings, and then they have to try to get to know her as well. So I'm just again, I don't have anything against Soul. I don't think Soul's a bad person. I do think that some people when they come out of the villa, they start to they start to do too much, meaning they start to play up to what they're reading in the comments and things like that. And then you decide you want to hop on a bandwagon. And then that ends up not turning out good for you. You should speak your experience only, and not let the comments and all the things start to interfere with what it is that you're saying. Because again, Like, people are super upset about this whole Trinity thing. You saying Kate is prettier. Again, it doesn't have to mean anything. It's just not a nice thing to say. Because again, I'm not gonna go into the thing of you being colorist. I'm not gonna jump into that field just yet, because again, you don't want to be labeled that. Now you're seeing how easily it is to be labeled something that you're not. You quickly came out and labeled those girls as mean girls because of probably what you were reading. Just because, again, if they weren't actually mean to you, and again, you're coming in as a bombshell, so it's going to be tension. This is not the first season we've seen tension between bombshells or Cosmore girls and the original girls. It's not the first time, and it's not going to be the last as this show continues on. But you see how quickly something that you say can then people start labeling you something. Mean girl you threw out there. These girls are threatened by you. All of these things that you said, and then immediately one of the things that you said turned people against you so quickly, and that they're now labeling you a colorist, to where you have to come out and say, oh, I'm black, I believe in black love, both my parents are black, because people are labeling you something that you feel like you're not, off of something that you said that you may have meant in a different way, but they took it differently than what you presented it. So I don't know. I just feel like Soul needs to be careful moving forward. She she should probably just chill. Hopefully she won't go out here and do all these interviews and all of this stuff. She probably should just kind of sit back and just chill. 'Cause like I said, the people turn on you in a blink of an eye. You be thinking you got it all together out here, and the people turn on you quickly. So I think that's about it that I have for that. So thank you for listening. Please make sure again you are subscribing to the channel and liking up the video, and we'll be back with Casa Amor, because Casa Amor starts Sunday. So we'll see how things are going. Have a good night.